Map 1 done and over with, but it's time to get into Map 2. Envy is down 1-0, and they're moving into unfamiliar territory as they stomp onto Icebox, a map that they typically ban out. This is VCT Stage 3, NA Challengers 1. My name is Bach. Joining me on the show is Vansili. Taking a look at the agent selection currently coming in. Locked and loaded is Envy. Any surprises here for you, Alex, as we look at the agent composition coming out for the side of Envy?
Yes and no. No, because they still use the same comp that they did in the open qualifiers in round of 128. But where it changes is that you actually do have Crashies going back as a Sova on this map.
Yeah.
So when they played in a round of 128, you had Victor playing Sova, you had Crashies playing towards this Sova style. Towards Reyna, and now that's switched over. So I like that. Hiko changing over the meta now of hovering over a Viper to KO. I like that. Well done here, Spencer. But at the same time, I still like the composition for Envy. Expect something very explosive from Mummy and from Victor as well. Something very similar as to how Sentinels kind of play, I would like to say. But we'll have to figure things out because this is going to be still, I think, uncharted, unfamiliar territory, because with that small change, can maybe change a lot in terms of piecing that Envy would have against 100 Thieves here.
That KO, I feel like
it's going to change
much
everything,
of a chance
man.
to talk about it, but
Yeah.
KO is really going to shake up the meta, I think. The knife, dude, it's just so good. The early intel you gain off of the knife, the ult, having only played as KO once or twice myself and seen others play it, I feel like it's really going to shake things up quite a bit just because of the versatility you get with KO. It's like an initiator duelist, but we can talk about that at a later date. We should be jumping into the action here in just a moment. Again, you mentioned it in the pre-match. No Sage. So mid control going to be super awkward. Post plants, also awkward. Pre-plants, really weird. You have so many teams who throw that wall down on B as a little bit of safety and security. Now they're kind of relying on Viper util, more than likely, to be the barrier. So you hope that works out well, but expect to see, I think, a lot of action towards A and mid.
Yeah, especially towards the A side, because technically now that you have a Reyna and a Jet for Envy on the A side defense, usually that's where there's less utilities to work against on the defense and where they can get overpowered. But we have a small change here in terms of the pistol round, at least for Envy. I do like this is a standard Viper wall that you have across the A side, chimed in with probably a combination of Killjoy utility later on into the rounds, where it could actually cause a lot of damage for enemies trying to cross over the A side. But look how passive the B side is, and look how fast we are towards the mid side, and it's going to be Mummy opening up with 2 kills.
FNS tries to help out as well. Frenzy from behind. There's that poisonous orb. We were talking about that, whether or not that would be enough to try to keep them at bay as they make their way onto the B site. They do have the spike in their possession, but it's not exactly safe as targets are looming on all sides. And now it's down to the last remaining player. It's Hiko on long, and it's a solid pistol round for Envy to kick things off here on map number 2. Now, that said, they did win the pistols on the last map as well. Both of them.
That was actually still pretty nice, though, for the fact that I think Mummy dashed and updrafted right onto the tube, because, of course, you don't have a Sage wall to jump over at that point. So that really surprised 100 Thieves trying to move through. The first kill into tube, the second kill, and information on top of that the hit is coming quick towards this B side. And that shows the amount of bodies that you had already on mid side for Envy. They were already prepared for this type of mid control play style for 100 Thieves, at least with the pistol round. I want to know how this is going to develop later on into the rounds. And this round, it's going to be a test to see where this Viper is currently playing, because I didn't have a chance to see it the last round here for 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves doing exactly what they did in map 1, going to the force. Didn't work out for them last time, but it did kind of control the money a little bit. There's Ethan with an early pickoff on FNS. Nitro is waiting on the other side of the toxic wall. There's a snake bite coming out. Crashies peeks through the poisonous orb in the backside of sight, and you can see 100 Thieves is already peeling off and running back in a different direction.
So
now, they
is
do have a
Mummy,
smoke down in mid. That gives them the ability to cross, but I love the play currently from Mummy. The problem is Mummy is on this with just a ghost.
Mm-hmm. He could be in a good angle still in this hallway, especially if it's a tight hallway. He keeps looking there. He could maybe pop a few, but now they're seeing it. The jig is up here for 100 Thieves. NVCs to play towards this hallway, and that's what I'm talking about. See, they're so tight-knit. The dink comes in to Ethan. They're trying to push in, and they finally take him down.
Envy definitely losing a few bodies, but they've still got control of the round, or at least they did. Victor, though, this is huge. Victor's going to be able to get one on the flank. Has the dismiss available as well, gets around the corner, and then the SMG is back out, and Asuna just can't track across that distance. Great move from Victor with the dismiss to get behind Yellow. 2 rounds in a row, but again, this round was just as difficult as the second round was the last time around.
This is a great start for Envy, too. You're already 1 ult point away for Marv to be able to get the Viper's Pit, and that's actually going to cause a lot of disruption onto 100 Thieves trying to force these rotates out, right? If you actually want to cancel out one part, I think they, especially how they're currently playing this Viper a lot on the A side here with Marv. If you're opting on, if you're ulting on the top of 410 and on top of Pipe to look down towards the A site, then you could have a lot more bodies towards this mid B side take later on. But they're switching things over for Envy. A full gun round coming in here for this defender side. I guess a bonus round, actually, because they're going against an eco of 100 Thieves. And 100 Thieves are looking to just explode for a spike plant into the A site.
Mummy swings wide around the corner. There's the early pickup. Shot in the top of the head by Steel, who was actually above. The shock dart is almost on the money. Steel's barely left standing. Again, no Sky, no Sage, no heals. Asuna catching one inside the Nano Swarm. It makes it a little bit easier, but it's fallen down onto FNS, who's scooped up a Phantom. And I actually like this. FNS uses the util and now is falling off, and he might catch them on the run back. They're not going to be ready for this, and they're both so low on HP. Oh, this could be free. Ooh! Or not. Or not. Tap, tap. The
Dink,
double
dink.
tap coming in from Hiko. My goodness, the fast shots on the Ghost.
Yeah, and I even think that was a nanoswarm being thrown by Steel just to make sure that Hiko could pick up that spike. But again, the way that Mummy plays this right now to play super aggressive towards that front side and dash away is still huge, because for him to get a kill to dash away, at least to start, create that space so he could try to trade after, it was perfect to cover on the right side. But they did not control Steel on the top of Belt. That whole round was all about Steel. That's 2 kills with the Sheriff, a kill with a nanoswarm, picking up weapons here for your teammates and allowing for the spacing 2v1 to win that round. That's going to put Envy in a tight spot after all.
Decisions to be made here as Mummy grabs the orb. And yep, there's the ult. The knives coming out. Mummy wants to try to at least take a few bodies out with him as they go for this play towards... Hey, Mummy's playing on the other side of this poisonous orb, and that's not how you want to see things go, as the right click doesn't pan out so well for them. But they've still got a flank coming in, and I don't think they were spotted. So now you can see the Sova coming through on the flank, taking his time, patiently waiting to hit the shots. Crashies at least gets 2 kills on the round. It could have been better, but at the same point in time, he ends up making it at least somewhat salvageable for what they wanted to do in the round, which was take players out of the equation. Obviously, the goal is always to win, but they did some economic damage in the end.
Nice little Care Barrel countdown on the scoreboard here for Team Envy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Into this round here, and look, I was going to say, the economy is going to be a little bit hard here for Envy, and what's going to happen for Mummy, because we want Mummy to start opping, and he is going to hold it, but he's going to go Glass Cannon. And this is where it changes things a bit, right? Because we talk about an operator sometimes on the A side to hold it down and to lock it down, but are using him to opt towards Boiler instead, down towards mid, so you can focus more bodies towards the A side and a solo B. So you're playing a lot of B retakes so far with this setup, but at least you have a lot of crossfires for the A side hold. So it's a great start. They're shifting the rotation back towards the B side for Envy, right where it's going to be 100 Thieves trying to get information and try to take the site for him at the beginning.
Careful.
Util coming out. Empress online as they gain access to the site.
Here.
They've got Killjoy's ult. They've got Sova's ult as well. Oh, that's an opportunity that should have gone the other direction. Again, Asuna is using the ult, taken down very low on HP, down to 32. And that's the Killjoy ult coming out from the other side. There's the Hunter's Fury trying to take down the lockdown and do some additional damage. Does do so, ends up chiming with a shot onto Ethan through yellow. Aldrone looking for more information as well. Right now, 100 Thieves is stalled out on this B site. They're looking to get onto the site, but great damage has been dealt already. And the ult for Asuna has worn off as they try to make their way out.
Still going to be Steel again. He's on a late lurk, but he's about to get pinched on both sides. That's what we're talking about. He gets his mid take. Now he gets a flank. He has to focus on this mid side for Envy. Finally gets traded out, but the spike is yet to be planted.
Nice shots from distance with the Phantom. 11 seconds left. They kill the spike planter, and now it's on Mummy. Mummy's escaped, but they've got to stick the spike. They don't have a choice. Hiko just goes for it. It's a 1v1. It's Mummy, who's currently got 2 on the round. And they were great shots, but Hiko's at full HP, still has both shock darts.
Mummy's just
and he's also the clutch king. Like, we know what to expect. He's in a great position as well. He's playing so passively, forcing Mummy to walk towards him more and more. Mummy now coming through next to the spike at the bottom of Tube, running out of time to try to peek this. There's the swing back from Mummy! It's a 3K to win the round, stealing it away from 100 Thieves. Early on, looked like it was going to be Envy's round. Then it swings, and it's 100 Thieves round. Then it comes back down to Mummy, and he ends up finding a big 1 versus 3 clutch to give Envy control of the scoreboard.
And that's why, like, a lot of people saying it's inconsistency potentially from 100 Thieves or from Envy, but at the same time, it's still just going to be 2 teams going at it, 2 top teams going at it, so anybody could win on any given day. So to see one lose right now earlier on in the winner's bracket, yes, it kind of sucks, but I love the fact that these games are so close. And that was just a beautiful Red Bull clutch there for Mummy. The fact that he held that angle so long from that right side of spawn down towards green just to make sure if Hiko was going to peek out, I'm pretty sure he was stacked up there so that if he misses a shot, he drops the gun from the Phantom that was just at his feet. But the fact that it was so slow, he just counted on his op, got that kill perfectly, and this round now, look how they're controlling that mid side. Alarm bot towards the pipes, you have nanoswarms being thrown, and they're really adding those bodies here for Envy on this mid side, so I'm really liking this from Envy so far.
Oh, I love the play coming out currently from Envy. Did I catch him? No. Asuna, he just spots out Victor, who didn't anticipate a player being across already. Look at the position on the other side of this smoke, though. Well played from Crashies to trade it back the other direction as they try to make their way towards the B site. Util being popped on both sides. There's the ult, though, coming out from Nitro, and that's going to make things incredibly difficult for Envy on the retake. Spike being planted.
Spike planted.
Nice shot coming out from Marv. Hold on. This was looking really promising, but now Marv's in a great position. Just has to be careful. He goes right around the corner. Who wins the fight? SMG versus rifle. It'll be the SMG. I like the off shot swap out. The Mummy's going full Fortnite right now as he spirals left and right, diving onto the site. Don't, judge the man for his building capabilities. The dash away as well to escape the threat. The updraft coming in. The movement's on point right now for Mummy. But Hiko is dodging in every way possible to avoid a direct fight. And he's already escaped on the site. Mummy doesn't realize. And now the clock is gone. The opportunity has evaporated. Great round coming in from 100 Thieves. But a valiant effort for Mummy again in a 1vx clutch.
Mummy's movement just put a huge smile on my face. Just the way that he parkoured around that B site and avoid everything was quite clean. But you do have to commend even Hiko at that point to not re-peek, knowing that it's a 2 versus 1, knowing where the alarm bot was and that, the turret was, and that it was spotted there by Mummy. Mummy had a chance that if he actually did kill Hiko, to know where Steel was going to come from at the end. So just to keep it a 2 versus 1, making sure that you're playing the clock on that spike. I just love that patience for Hiko. It's not about the stats here on the kills to try to win the round. It's just trying to win the game. So they tie things up on a 3-3. You only have an op to work with here for Mummy into this round, maybe with this Spectre, and they rings true.
I love the move coming in here as well. Aggressive on long. Marv has to be careful. Doesn't hear the target behind him, so Hiko gets a trade back. Missed shot opportunity from Mummy. That'll allow Nitro to escape, but it's still a player advantage for Envy as they have the 4-on-3, excuse me. Now Ethan goes top rope and catches Victor off guard. The op is still a looming threat on this A site, but it doesn't seem to be scaring them away at all. No. Mummy has to dodge the poison that's been tossed out onto site from Viper. but it's a bit of a stalemate on site right now. They can't really plant. They can't really go for the swings. There's the swing coming out, and Nitro gets the punish. And FNS across the map on the B site wasn't really there to help. Does have the ult, but it might be a fool's errand to use that now. Pistol coming out as there's just too much in front of them. 3 players. They toss the paranoia out. They've got vertical position as well. This round is going to be 100 Thieves.
So I'm telling you, man, when you actually have Mummy able to warm up, the shots are starting to look kind of clean. So some great shots to start things off for Envy to potentially win that eco, but the fact that you're able to push back off the Owl Drone, that's the demise of what Envy had on such a low buy, is because when the Owl Drone came up towards that pipe, you're trying to break it with the Classic, and unfortunately it still spotted Mummy that was on the top of the green boxes by the Radiant boxes there to look back towards belt side to try to get the pick back onto Steel, if I'm not mistaken. With the fact that he got spotted, even if he doesn't get tagged, is forced out of position, and that allowed 100 Thieves to scale up and even dump utilities to just make it difficult for the defenders to hold it with the minimal arsenal that they had there. So great job for 100 Thieves. They saved themselves from an awkward position, and they regained the lead onto this half. And with this half, they're looking to work back towards the A side again, and that's a huge thing. FNS may die. If he doesn't, it's a good thing, because this Killjoy ult is going to be very important.
Yeah, not only that, using that ult there means they don't have it, but so much for that. FNS caught off guard by Steel, who's playing hyper-aggressive as KJ. The knives come out for Mummy, and despite the fact that it looked like he sliced him into a million pieces, he still survives, and the round is 100 Thieves to take. A quick one at that, as they gained A access pretty fast. And unfortunately for Envy, the ult that they wanted, like you mentioned, the KJ ult, lockdown, not on point because of this play from Steel, coming through the wall, catching him off guard. He took so much damage to jump through that wall and find those kills as well.
And that's the joy of controlling the pace here for 100 Thieves, because if you're going to play passive like that towards the A side and you want to try to play the retake, then if you're taking the control of 400 Thieves right now and you have Viper to play Pulse Plant, you're in a tough spot for Envy. You're trying to control towards this mid side because you know 100 Thieves are playing that a lot, but 100 Thieves are now conditioning Envy. Look at how many rounds are actually working the sites from extremities now instead of actually trying to go for pipe control like they always do. So this is very hard for Envy to try to control the pace back in their favor, and Steel is going to hear all of this. The rotation comes back from the B side, and everybody gets smacked down towards the mid side. That opens A, and it's going to be an easy plant here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Steel just doing the audio checks back behind him, knowing that they were pushing through, and it should be a couple of easy kills. Actually, not able to finish off FNS as fast as you might anticipate. Phantom Spray just kind of gets away from Ethan, so Crashies does get an upgrade, an opportunity to punish a little bit more.
Spike planted.
Scoreline currently very reminiscent of map 1. I'm pretty sure on map 1 it was 3-0 for Envy, and then we saw a 5-round run from 100 Thieves before we started seeing them trade rounds. And we're kind of at the same point here, with the obvious exception being that 100 Thieves is winning a now 6th round. But Envy looked great in the pistols. They seem to hold it together in the 2nd round, and even in the bonuses sometimes they do okay. But really, when you look at the last map and you look at this one, both times 100 Thieves lost the pistol and then forced and lost. So that put them in a position where their 3rd round was kind of awkward. So it's this mid-half play that goes the direction of 100 Thieves. That's been difficult for Envy.
It's just the beauty of the maps too, right? Haven and Icebox looking to be a little bit more attacker-sided too, so to make it this competitive at the beginning from the get-go from Envy is actually a great start, so that hopefully they're able to turn things around here on the attacker side, and you're not going to have the same type of mishaps as you did on that first map, unfortunately, there. So now it comes back to, okay, the economy is finally right, looking at Envy, because this is probably the 2nd time that Mummy buys an op, but the first time that he buys an op with full armor this time, right? So they finally have full kit, full abilities for everybody too, and a first blood for FNS.
Fast play is the name of the game here for 100 Thieves. Again, we see play we've seen from Ethan many times already. Smoke goes out, port across to yellow, watch out for the drone that's coming through so you don't get spotted.
Lots of ults here.
And there's a smoke or a wall coming out from Viper. A toxic wall is going to put Crashies in a difficult position here, stuck in that corner.
They're going to lock down B potentially, and then just Viper ult into the B site right after. So there's that first lockdown, there's a Viper spin, and this is going to be an easier fight now coming in for 100 Bs.
They just hit the GG easy button. The ult being used as well to get one behind enemy lines. But you got to be careful here. They lost one player. Victor's going to get picked off on the flank, caught inside the lockdown. Nitro just chilling currently inside the smoke of his ult. See the play from Mummy. I respect it. The attempt to dash up quick. Ethan is in a really good spot, but now finally his play is going to pan out. Success is there for Ethan, but they just lost Nitro in sight. That means the cover they had has now disappeared. Big fat paranoia coming out, but Marv gets the timing. It's up to Hiko again. 39 HP in a dream. He's the clutch god, but can he do it again? Gets the first target, but no, Marv is there and waiting. That's a huge 4K from the most recent player on the Envy roster as Marv steps up big for Envy.
Dude, that was definitely a huge play by Marv because he got pinged out too just before he got the frag onto Nitro to make sure that that Viper spit goes down. And at the same time, that's so much pressure coming in from Ethan on that mid-side late lurk that somehow they're still able to capitalize. Like, that's the biggest kill right there. Marv going with a paranoid kill onto Ethan just saved that round as well to make things a lot easier for Envy to capitalize into that round. So sometimes it does have that heroic, it does take the heroic effort. It does take the bigger backpack, and Marv is starting to fill up his teammates in there. So with 6-4 half and also a first blood from Mummy, you're starting to see that momentum starting to come back here for Envy, and that confidence and also the desire to want to win this half or at least tie it up looks really good for Envy.
Big pick off from Vic early on. Even gets the dismiss to get out of that position. They're down a man, but their opponents are down 2. And there's the Killjoy ult coming out from FNS. Now, Victor is pinged currently by the drone. They're trying to gain access to the site. They want to try and cancel this ult if they can, but they're going to guard it with their lives. They're actually going to get a couple on this one, potentially. Yeah, 2 players get detained, and FNS is going to have a field day with this one. Hiko's coming in to try to save them, and thank God Hiko got there as fast as he did, because FNS should have been able to find a second. And he's the saving grace on the round, even though Hiko didn't win the clutch the last round. That's a clutch moment that won't get highlighted all that much. Getting there that quickly, turning things from a 3-on-1 to a 2-on-2.
The Al Jones just came out. He still has a Hunter's Fury for Crashies. You just want to stay alive towards the back of this site. It's a fake plant to try to push him out. Oh, now he's pinned. He's in such a tough spot. He needs help from Marv right now.
Kate peeking currently. There's the snake fight coming out. There's the swing from Marv. But it's now down to just 20 seconds and a 1v1. The spike is inside that snake bite. Marv has gained position. If I'm Marv, they just swing off that dart, and that's exactly what he does. He goes for that wide swing. 10 seconds left now, almost caught with the snake bite, but there's the snake bite going down. Hiko doesn't have a choice, has to go towards the spike or go for the fight. 4 seconds, tries to force it again, but Marv isn't falling for it. He's falling onto the spike. Hiko! With just a fraction of a second left in the round, 100 Thieves somehow steal that one away from Envy.
Oh, that is so nice right there by Hiko. The instant karma moment coming in from Hiko, just saving the team, not only on that clutch, the clutch Hiko master. You said that it wasn't going to be highlighted for the beginning of that frag, but at least the end you saw it. Marv, he was so smart at least to run down that clock and did not expect for Hiko to jump towards that back. And Hiko, man, the selfless player, but also the clutch player. He wants to let his teammates entry first. He'll pick it up right after. He's the janitor right now for the team. Let me just sweep it up. 7-4 right now, 400 Thieves, and that's an off shot in the face of Victor. And a second one from Seal onto Mummy, and that's an open A site almost here as a Hunter rings out, but doesn't get the kill. Spike is now planted. Asuna looking for this 4-on-2. As Envy is looking to retake this site, but that turret's going to go up, but it's not going to do much. Asuna actually gets the kill. Here's that Hunter's Fury to come out, and this should seal the deal. There you go. 100 Thieves are going to win this half 8-4, but when we talked about momentum, the confidence of Envy trying to come back into this game, it definitely got shut down by Hiko in round number 11 right there.
I mean, it got highlighted as well as an instant karma moment, and can you blame us for doing that? I mean, it's such a great play coming in from Hiko that really kind of stole that round away and guaranteed momentum in favor of 100 Thieves. Pretty much, after the early round, controlled the pace of the half. We said that again. It was the same thing that we saw on map 1. In the early part of that first half, Envy looked really good. It was like, okay, this is the new Envy everyone's talking about. But as soon as we saw the buy rounds come out, it felt like a comparison of two different teams. 100 Thieves has really separated themselves from comparisons against Envy as they've picked up a big first half here on Icebox 8-4. We did talk about it though. This was going to be a difficult map for Envy. We didn't have high hopes or high expectations because it's not a map we see them play all that often. Whereas 100 Thieves feels a lot more comfortable enough to pick it.
Well, this round, it's a couple of bodies trying to just get rid of the turret. And Steel had open season, but only does damage. Chip damage coming down. Marv inside kitchen. Hiko looking for this kill. The spike at least gets planted. So this is an early, make that a 3-on-3 as Asuna is trying to rotate in with his teammates. 3 towards the pipes. But Mummy and Victor are in a great crossfire setup by the site, trying to go for the bait and switch. And as we're rotating back here, this is a huge leer. And this might calm things down for a bit and give the advantage back for Envy. Yep.
There's another pistol round for Envy. So far, 4 for 4 on the pistol rounds, as 100 Thieves has not yet managed to win one. Doesn't seem to be bothering them all that much. They are winning the maps, and they currently have a pretty comfortable pad between them and their opponent. Now, will 100 Thieves force here, given that they've got the plant coming in, but they've also got round cushion? You know, I feel like with the round cushion, you maybe save up and go for that first strong buy, just knowing how much better your full buys have been against Envy, and not only that, knowing that your force buys haven't worked out so well for you either. It looks like they'll spend a little bit of cash. Steel does have a sheriff, but the rest of the team's going to be rocking classics.
Yeah, I mean, you want a little bit more, too, in terms of utility, right? The cloud coming in towards mid side is going to be important, and that's going to cost a lot of money as well. And as the wall comes down, it's just a surprise here from Envy to sweep up those 2 kills.
Disappointing there too, as Victor got dinked by the burst fire, but a follow-up was not possible because of a dismiss coming out after he was actually able to kill one of the other players. Now Marv will be the first casualty for Envy. Spike will be planted. There's the nice no-scope coming out from the Marshal for Mame. There's one right around the corner. Has to be careful. The burst fire does do great damage to Mummy. Puts him down on 20 HP, but the round is Envy's to take. And now a strong buy will come in from the side of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and at least you still have this Marshal now in the hands of Mummy. You want to try to activate it right now, play in a distance, maybe a Vandal versus a Marshal here towards that A side, unless you want to pick up towards that B. You're still going to play with this bonus no matter what here for Envy. You're not going to really force up to the end, but hopefully you can get something good here out of this bonus. And the bonus seems to set up a wall for a traditional B take to start things off, but you still have a lurk currently happening from FNS and from Marv at the beginning of the A side. So you want to try to sell this at first. There's the Owl Drone that comes out, Victor getting control, but they could always pick the orb and fall back if they want to. It just depends how much utility they can waste out here from 100 Thieves at the beginning of the round.
Intersecting walls on the B site from both Vipers.
There you go.
FNS, though, who's in mid, waiting to strike. You can see the jumps coming out from Steel, left to right. Steel also going with the Odin. This is not incredibly uncommon. We've seen Steel do this before. We saw Steel doing this on the last map. Steel actually takes a shot from the Marshal, though, and that's going to limit his staying power. But that's a freebie for Hiko. FNS gets a little too antsy in mid and gets caught off guard by the player who's pushed up top of Boiler. Now, Ethan getting dropped, getting aggressive over on A is the equalizer. You've still got players on this A site, though. Reyna is currently up in tube as the recon dart goes out. Won't give away Asuna's position. But will they see the barrel? That's the question. There's the drone coming out from Hiko to get that information. They're going to be moving back towards mid, and this could prove to be somewhat problematic as you have to challenge Steel with the Odin. And look at the angle he's gone with. It's a full-on rat play coming out from Steel.
The Lear's coming out too, and it's a huge crossfire setup, and that's it. I mean, the Owl Drone that comes out and doesn't see anything towards pipes means that the two players from 100 Thieves don't need to rotate over that side. It wasn't going to be a hard hit. It's just going to be a lot of rotates going on. The only thing I find that was missed in terms of trying to force these rotates out or to try to keep 100 Thieves guessing is that all-important Viper Cloud on that mid site that Nitro throws almost every single round on the attack. And that's what I'm talking about. When you have one less controller, you kind of want to keep that Viper Pit or the Viper Cloud into your own pocket, into your own arsenal, so that you could potentially play Pulse Plant with the snake bites, right? So you have a little bit less on that mid side control. It was an easier pick there for whoever was playing Boiler for 100 Thieves, and it just makes it harder for Envy to gain map rotations and regain map control.
Orb control for 100 Thieves, or for Envy, excuse me, on long. Down 3 currently. Couple pings given out as the recon dart doesn't get destroyed quick enough. Marved on lurk as Asuna waiting around the corner. And that's a battle that's become quite fun to watch, as Marv has proven to be incredibly valuable on this map for 100 Thieves, not just in his utility, but also his frag potential. Dink shot comes out onto Mame, putting him down onto 45 HP. Marv is around the corner, and I believe was spotted as Rustam. But look at FNS. FNS has a headshot angle, and I don't think FNS realizes that he was spotted. Lucky to survive as that smoke comes up just in time.
And that allows here potentially for a lurk from Marv right after. Like, yes, the shots were rang, but he doesn't have to peek out. So yes, there's a first bait, but he's still in a great corner for a late activation. The thing is, 100 Thieves knows his hit's coming towards this B site because he has such a big flank from Ethan. And there you go, Marv gets caught. Gonna be hard to retake here for Envy on the site.
Yeah, that's quite difficult for Envy now that you've lost your smokes. You don't have any remaining control on the map. You don't have a Sage Wall to fight with. You don't have the backup of the Omen quite like 100 Thieves does. This is what we were talking about highlighting in the pregame. The fact that 100 Thieves has that fail-safe, the fallback. So sure, if Nitro dies, they've got Ethan standing by. In this instance, you have your smokes lurking mid. Perfectly understandable given the way that Marv's been playing.
10 seconds left.
But with Marv not there, it just really limits your capability, and you can see just how the fights broke down on side Crash. He's just playing around that venomous orb, and it's double-digit rounds now for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, you definitely had a game of timing going on, and not in favor of Envy at that point, because how long was FNS posted in the spawn side to watch that A main push? When he actually finally got shot by Asuna, I was like, okay, I could fall back. It seems as though they're expecting some sort of a late B hit. I could try to support the team right now because I have utility to try to help, and then Ethan pushes out, gets the kill. So just unfortunate. Bladestorm also does not work out here in favor of Mummy. Off angle for FNS. He does get a dink, but that's it. So this is going to be harder for Envy to overtake this site. They're just trying to look for a plant at least, and that's Marv and everybody else slowly falling down for Envy, and that is going to be it for that round. At least a nice little team ace going on there for 100 Thieves, and they're now 2 rounds away of knocking Envy down to the lower brackets. Going to be a tough game here for Envy.
They'll be playing against Gen G, mind you, in the lower bracket.
Fun.
Yeah. Not exactly. Like, if I'm looking at the bracket right now, if I'm one of these teams, I'm probably thinking, okay, like, Pioneers, a little less experienced, a little less tenured at this level of play. Maybe the team that they'd want to focus and face off against. Just an update, by the way, for anyone that's currently watching the main stream and not watching the B stream. Xset actually upset Sentinels in that one, 13-9.
On Haven.
And they're down 2 currently on Icebox. Yeah, on Haven. It looks like they lost the pistol and then, you know, went on a kind of a tirade and won the last 7 rounds of the first half. So incredible stuff from Xset. But back to the game at hand. Yeah. Envy's gotten onto the site, or at least they thought they did. Then the defender's Killjoy ult comes out, and that forces them all outside of that bubble. But what's inside the bubble is the spike. That allows great repositioning, and Nitro's done this before. There's a dive bomb into it. I love the play from Mummy to try and prevent that from being a threat, but Crashies dies to a snake bite in the meantime. Luckily, they've reduced it down to 1. It's only people left remaining with 10 HP.
There was just such a big battle happening for that A side, at least, to try to get that Killjoy ult back into screens to push back the offense, but Envy just did a great job just doing a lot of chip damage at the beginning and makes it a little bit easier off the aggressive play from Mame. A suicide play if he actually died, but if he actually capitalized on top of that, a huge one. A selfless play right here to actually try to turn the round back over here for Envy, and it works out. So this still, though, they're not out of the fire pit. 100 Thieves still has a lot of money to work with. They have 3 ults to work with on top of that too. FNS here looking still towards this mid side. Do they want to try to activate him by picking up an orb later on into the round and potentially ult into the B site? We'll see. First off, we have that snake bite or the Viper's Cloud that's thrown into the A side. We're trying to keep our opponents at that point. But once we see a lot of pressure here towards the A side on that defense, you could potentially fall back, get that ult orb, and then execute into the B site.
Envy scrambling for rounds. They don't want to surrender another one to 100 Thieves just yet and give them that tie point guarantee. Ethan's playing such a good angle,
Huge.
looking for someone over top of that smoke. Can't do enough damage. Will actually get away, and not only that, port up onto the balcony. So from rafters, has to concern himself with the dart position's been given away again. But the same could be said for the other direction as they peel back a little bit further. Crashies alone as the smoke, the one-way, giving Steel opportunities to strike. And it's now Finesse, Vic, 2v4. 35 seconds left on the clock. Spike control is theirs. But Steel's got the best HP possible for the scenario. Or all scenarios, for that matter.
Not anymore as they're trying to push forward, and they swing it back, but you still have Hiko inside that site, so he's in the back, and there's that ult. So I talked about the ult orb that they can pick up, but this time from a kill that's huge. Now we try to go for a plant. We force the defenders out, so this is actually now doable here. FNS only low HP. He has a full kit, though, so he can put an alarm bot towards the spawn site, but he actually doesn't want to give his position away. He just wants to play the off angle and hopefully at least get one before he dies.
Oh no, that's not what you want to see. They relied on him so much, and that's exactly why we were saying, oh no, you have Finesse on 4 HP. The fact that he gets that opener is what sets up the play. Victor needs to get that kill, and it doesn't come through. It will be another Red Bull clutch, one of many that we've seen from Hiko thus far, and just another one in the pile that he's stored up throughout his career in both CS and Valorant. Taking a look back at this play, it started here with the Finesse, and it looked so good until that moment.
I don't know, man. At that point, I don't even think that Victor should have peeked out because, again, FNS still had full kit. They saw that the recon dart came out from spawn side. He could put an alarm bot onto the ground, and if actually gets shot... Yeah, exactly. Or a nanoswarm or an alarm bot. If it gets shot off right away, they know that Hiko's just around the corner, and maybe they swing out on the utility after and not go for the body peek. So I think there was miscommunication there on how they kind of want to play that, or they probably thought that Hiko was really focusing on, hey, can I actually try to hit somebody off the recon dart and try to surprise them? But unfortunately, it's not the case. Now we have Hunter's Fury coming out here from Crashies, and we're trying to just explode on this mid take, and Asuna is trying to pop off, but is only good for one, as the trades are still going back and forth, but it's still going to be the advantage coming in for 100 Thieves.
That's a kill again. You need to see go the way of Vic. Victor falls short despite having Empress and Ethan being low on HP. Now the pressure is on for Crashies. The drone was out leaning in his direction. Has to fall back. At least he's contending with just Ethan in mid. And Ethan being low on HP, playing from underneath tube, could be a quick and easy kill. You could see the spot was potentially made. Ethan's jiggling, looking for it. He may have just timed that pretty well, but you can see players already starting to rotate through and change positions. Crashies, best of luck. A recon dart sent out as the spike will be planted.
30 seconds left.
Does have 2 shock darts to use in the post plan.
If any man could do it, it could be Crashies.
I kind of like the position, but at the same point in time, I don't know what to think about it. It's such a tough spot to put yourself in a 1vx,
especially
guaranteeing at least funneling from one direction. Here comes the first one. Maybe a second, not gonna happen. 100 Thieves has punched their ticket into the upper finals, guaranteeing themselves a spot at Challengers playoffs. Great work from them as they pick up the dub on Icebox 13-7 over Envy.
What a nice display here for 100 Thieves. We thought that potentially Envy had something different cooked up going into this matchup, but it just shows how 100 Thieves are just too strong on this map in terms of controlling the whole map overall.
Not exactly the way you want things to go there, but it is just kind of like that. We're going to go ahead and throw things to a break. When we come back, we will wrap up that series as we crown 100 Thieves victor and they move on into the upper finals. Stay tuned and we'll return in just a bit.